hello, welcome back to BSG, still raising money for Mind. And right now we're gonna continue with our Star Wars block. We've just seen Star Wars The Force Unleashed, and it was so good that we immediately decided, like, we need to see a sequel of that. So here, here is Zojalyx again showing us Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2.
Yeah,
Take it away.
hello. Another thing too about this game is they were like, hey, you enjoyed having one lightsaber in the Force Unleashed 1. Well, in the Force Unleashed 2, you're going to have two lightsabers. Um, so there's only one thing I'm going to preface with before I get this run started, and that is we're playing on the PC port of the game, and the PC port crashes quite a bit. Um, and so, in order to help prevent crashing, I removed some of the cutscenes. In the Force Unleashed 1, you saw that with the way that the animation style was different in some cutscenes versus the main game. The cutscenes with the different animations we have cut out in order to prevent the game from crashing. It was something that the community all just agreed upon doing because it made runs just nicer to do. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Timing will begin. I will actually be able to count down properly this time. Count down from 5 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, in the Force Unleashed 2, we are going to be starting off with a tutorial section, and this is where the game is going to say, hey, we like to do things in threes. And that's going to be doing 3 attacks with our lightsaber, and then we're going to be doing 3 force pushes, and then the game is going to be like, hey, use lightning, and then we're going to do 3 force lightnings. And then we're just going to dash around and chillax until this cutscene starts playing. And then we're just going to sit and watch this cutscene. Because this is the only, well, there are a couple unskippable cutscenes in this run that are in this sort of engine that are kind of longer. But this will give me a good opportunity to kind of explain the plot. So at the end of Force Unleashed 1, Starkiller died. That was something that we saw in that last cutscene. But in Force Unleashed 2, who we have here is maybe not the same Starkiller. It could potentially be a clone. We don't actually know. Um, it who he is Vader is explaining here that he is supposed to be like the first successful clone, but he couldn't ignore the emotions of his past life and kill Juno, the woman he loves. Or I will probably be referring to her as his waifu for a lot of this. And then in that, you got a flashback cutscene of Vader stabbing in the back, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want any part of that." And so he just decided he's going to yeet himself at Vader and out the wall and try and escape Kamino. And that is how we're going to be entering this game. We don't actually know throughout the game whether or not he's a clone. It could just be another form of the body that Vader brought back to life. I don't know. Feel free to drop your theories in chat if you want. I probably won't see them though. So this is our first falling section. And in this falling section, I'm going to be mashing my force dash button. I also realized I didn't turn the controller vibration off, and it's actually really throwing me off. So I'm just going to turn that off here quick. Okay, that's better. And so in the falling section, I'm mashing force dash. You'll see the blue circle around me. That's basically me surrounding myself in force to allow me to go faster, as well as break through anything without taking any damage. Pretty simple, nothing really overly fancy about that. So we've got this group of enemies here. I'm going to dash over to them, and we're going to do a one-strike combo and then push my lightning button to extend my reach, as well as just kill all the enemies in one shot. And then we're going to immediately dash over here to the left, where we're going to go around this cutscene trigger. So now we've just skipped about a 10-second cutscene. And so now I can explain the movement in this game. So this game actually has a decent chunk of movement tech in it. And the way that the movement tech is going to be working is you'll notice that I kind of interrupt my force dashes when I use them. In this game, when you dash, there's this sort of animation of Starkiller stopping. And I actually cancel that animation by jumping and then immediately dashing again. And so That's called dash canceling, and you'll see me do that anytime I am doing any sort of long stretches of movement that needs to be done really quickly. So it just the whole time you're running, it's dash jump dash, dash jump dash, dash jump dash, and that's how we optimize our movement throughout this game. You'll also notice that sometimes when I dash, I will surround myself in force like I did in the falling section. That's called dashing blast. That's a move that we didn't see at all in Force Unleashed 1 because you have to level up in order to have it and use it. But we use it right away in Force Unleashed 2. There also isn't like a level up system in this game. There is just you get EXP, and when you get a certain amount of EXP, it allows you to level up. So we're actually coming up onto our first major skip of the run. So we had the cutscene skip, and now we've got our first major skip. It's actually 2 skips that we're going to be doing pretty much right away. So first, what we're going to be doing is it's going to be this turret that you're going to see in this cutscene, where the game is like, "Hey, you are going to learn how to use Force Mind Trick." So we're learning how to use Force Mind Trick. We're going to mind trick this guy. He's going to jump out the window, and then there's a turret here. We're going to try and jump on that turret and then jump around an invisible wall to then allow us to skip doing a bunch of fights here. And I'm going to try and focus to make sure that I get it. Okay, we got on the turret, and we are now over the invisible wall. So now, in order to complete the trick, we have to get around these ray shields. And in order to do so, which I am doing very sloppily, but it's working out, we are smacking our face into this shield, because what that does is it allows... Well, I'll explain what that does later when I have time, because we're going right into the next part, into the second trick, which is I'm going to jump on this box, jump off to the side, do 3-strike combo in the air to get up onto this gunship, and this gunship is going to carry us out of bounds. And then while we're riding this gunship, I'm going to get flung off. That's unfortunate. I hate when that happens. That happens very rarely, but it does happen, and it is not fun. Because we have to... it's actually quite a decent time loss when that happens, like 20 seconds-ish. Because now we have to go and do this again and get back onto the gunship. So, anyway, okay, I got hit. That's... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is scary. Yep, okay. I ran into the box there. Man, I don't normally struggle with this trick. We haven't even gotten to, like, the harder part of the trick. So hopefully I'm able to get that part. So we're going to give this another shot here. Gonna jump up onto this box. And I knocked the box down again. What is going on? I cannot jump on a box today. Maybe this was the trick I should have practiced in between runs. Alright, so I'm just going to focus here. Interesting. Alright, I'm going to give this one more attempt, and if I don't get it this time, I do have a backup trick that I can do. Nope. Alright. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to jump up onto this thing. 3-strike combo. Hello? Okay. Interesting. Alright. Never mind. I guess we're going to give the main trick another go. Alright, now we're on the gunship. Hopefully it doesn't fling us off again. Alright, so we're good now. It's going to carry us out of bounds. Now that we're here, I'm going to jump, hit this checkpoint, and then dash over to the side here. And, okay, we didn't get TIE Fighter skip, because normally what you have to do is you have to kind of drop into the right spot in order to skip this section. That's the hard part of the trick, because there's very, if not any, visual cues to use in order to get it. You just kind of have to guess and check. But we weren't able to get that part, but it's fine. I struggled with every other bit, and that's been a while since I've struggled that hard, but it's fine. We made it through, and that's what matters. So, so here is a good way for me to... I almost fell to my death there. Good way to explain something I did there. So I paused the game, quit out, went back in to reload the checkpoint there. I did that quite a bit, which means the game is more than likely going to crash on me. Also, headphone warning. Not that that's, a little bit too late there for that. And so basically what I did, what that does is those ATSDs didn't spawn when I did the out of bounds. So, and I needed them to spawn in order for the game to progress. And so I paused and reloaded the checkpoint that I hit there, just so that way, the cutscene was skipped, as well as the ATSDs were going to spawn. Because if you do things too fast in the PC port of the game, then certain things cannot spawn, which can cause the game to soft lock. So here we're into Cato Nemoida, the Eastern Arc. The Eastern Arc is going to be a level that's going to have a lot of that damage boosting that I talked about before, that we did before, which is if I get hit enough, it actually will reset my jump counter and will allow me to essentially do infinite amount of jumps. It's quite interesting to use in various instances. Like there, we skipped a bridge that we normally pulling a bridge, and we killed that enemy a lot faster. And these guys are similar to the Shadow Guards, only they are totally immune to force powers. And so we just grapple them and yeet them off the edge. Why is the shield not disappearing? Wow, that was interesting. So we're going into another... there's going to be a lot of damage boost tricks here that you'll see me pull off. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And in order to make sure that I'm able to stay in the air long enough, I do a 2-strike air combo and then start shooting lightning. I'm going a little bit out of my way here to grab this holocron. We will need it later to get our first ability at 25,000 upgrade points. So, I'll do the 2-strike air combo, and then I will hold Force Lightning in order to suspend myself in the air while I wait for the next missile. Alright, couldn't get around that shield fast enough. That's fine, you can just cut the corner right there. Shields are just a suggestion. And then one of the difficult parts about this run is being able to maneuver around enemies. It's so easy to just get stuck on them. And you'll probably see me get stuck on them a lot. So another thing that I will do to reload checkpoints is in some instances I quit out and whip back in. But now that we've unlocked this costume here, when I enter certain areas, I can just switch costumes. And when I switch costumes, that will also reload the checkpoint. Makes that whole segment, go a lot easier. It's actually less loads I have to worry about, as well as faster menuing. And then here we're going to throw our lightsaber, grab and throw, whip that. That guy's dead. And then we can do the same thing here. I actually discovered grabbing the boxes and throwing them, like, recently, is quite a bit faster than what the original strat is. So here I'm reloading the checkpoint for a very odd reason. I reload the checkpoint because these guys will spawn either way, whether I reloaded the checkpoint or not. But the elevator isn't activated right away. But if I reload the checkpoint, I don't have to worry about killing those guys. And that works out really well because those are riot troopers and they're immune to my lightsaber. So I would have to grab them and throw them off the ledge. And that just becomes a little bit more of a headache. So here's where the game's like, hey, you gotta dash and you gotta do it fast. Which we have dash canceling. So unless we, get stuck on the bridge like I just did there, then we don't have to worry about this segment at all unless, you know, we get stuck on enemies. We're going to grab a blue back to tank there that will increase our maximum force energy. That just helps to make our lives a little bit easier with force management. Because with the stuff that we get, force management doesn't become even a necessity in this run. Like, it becomes a lot more of a necessity in Force Unleashed 1. So here we've got our next out of bounds trick we're going to be doing. This is Casino Skip. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to dash cancel across here. And we're going to jump out of bounds because they didn't put a wall there. Dashing blast onto this platform that's actually just invisible. Do some dashes around some invisible walls. And then I'm going to drop onto this invisible platform, jump around, and then hit the checkpoint. I know I hit the checkpoint because there's this tiny little load circle in the bottom left or bottom right corner of the screen. And so I hit the checkpoint, and that's Casino Skip. And now we have just skipped about 2 to 3 minutes of going through fighting in the casino, and because instead we can just go out of bounds and skip everything, making our lives a lot easier. So here's the door. This is a carbonite door. There's no trick associated with the carbonite door, but I highlight this door because I've lost a lot of time on this door in previous runs. Just because of the way that this door can function, which it looks like this door, that is the best that door has ever gone. Wow. And I'm going to break these casino things here specifically because there's a statue of Guybrush. Just to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of what the costume looks like. So you guys should definitely donate towards that incentive. So we're now hopping into this area, which is a little bit of an auto-scroller. And it's just a good time to just kind of chillax and blast some TIE fighters. So now is a really good spot to read some donations.
Alright, cool. Not any donations at the moment, but like you said, there is a donation incentive for this game, for the costume that's gonna be able to be worn for the final boss fight. Right now we're still a little bit away for that incentive, so if you want to see that changed, where we're gonna be wearing an alternate costume, make sure to donate towards that. And also a quick reminder that if you're at any point during this marathon, like, I can understand that you need sleep at one point. If you at any point would like to see one of the previous runs, make sure to check out our YouTube. Get subscribed because we have some very cool, unique content coming. You can subscribe at youtube.com/BSG Marathon. Want me to say more things?
No, I can take it from here. So yeah, in this segment here, this ship is going to be shooting at us, and the tram has health. The tram's health isn't relevant as long as we just force reflect missiles and are fine. It's really not a big deal. It just kind of ends up turning into adding a little bit more into the auto scroller. But sometimes RNG can be like, yeah, this isn't actually an auto scroller, but I don't know. I haven't noticed that reflecting the amount of missiles actually matters. I think it's more of just surviving a certain amount of phases, and since we destroyed the TIE fighters quickly, then we don't have anything to worry about. So yeah, you guys, I don't know if any of you guys watched the most recent BSG Online. I actually ran VeggieTales Larry Boy and the Bad Apple. You guys should watch that run when you get a chance on YouTube. It's a pretty fantastic thing. I sang VeggieTales silly songs. So we grabbed that holocron, and I don't want to do a saber upgrade. I want to upgrade saber throw. I did that in a run before where I upgraded the wrong thing, and it was bad. So this is the western arc, now that we've gone on to the whole other side, and this is going to have a more damage boosting. There are a lot of things we can actually damage boost off of, such as like sniper shots here. And hopefully they all behave, and they did. Awesome. So that now skips a decent chunk of stuff there. Skips around a few corners, and then here, fights and shields are optional when you can just bash your face into a ray shield to then let you skip across. So here we're coming up onto one of the harder tricks in the run. Arguably the hardest trick in the run. It really depends on how much you practice this. So I'm going to kind of focus and explain it after it happens. That's the wrong menu. I'm going to switch my costume here. All right, so that was the harder part. We landed on that gunship. And what I did is I switched my costumes so that way I was suspended in the air for a little bit, allowing me to then jump immediately into the costume, jump immediately as the loading screen ends onto that gunship, jump across the first barrier onto the second gunship, and then ride that here to this checkpoint, and then reload the checkpoint. And getting that first try in a marathon is incredible. I am really happy I did that because that saved my butt after the whole tram ride thing, or not tram ride, Camino escape thing. So I will take that. This is now we're actually going to be fighting this ship. Instead of just reflecting missiles to get them to hit the ship faster, we're going to use force grip, that's the word, and throw it at it. And then eventually the game's going to give us this little QTE that we just pull the stick and mash and we're good. And then here we're dashing back and forth to avoid getting hit. And then we don't actually just need to go behind the barriers because it's just slower to be behind the barriers. And then we can just do this again. So you're probably wondering why I upgraded Saber Throw. And that actually is going to be for the next level, which is our first major boss of the run. Excuse me. And we needed the Saber Throw upgrade because there are some things that we just need to do more damage, and I will explain that more when we get there. But for now, we're just going to be entering this arena to try and save Master Coda, who is the guy who is getting blasted with lightning when by the Emperor at the end of Force Unleashed 1. He knows where Juno is. Yeah, that's the whole quest of this entire game. Is Starkiller's like, okay, I need to go find General Coda so that way he can lead me to go see Juno again. And then he goes to see Coda, and Coda's like, are you actually a clone? And he's like, bro, I'm a clone. And he's like, actually, I don't think you're a clone. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do. And so he goes to like find himself, and then he's like, okay, I don't really care if I'm a clone or not. I'm gonna go see my waifu anyways. And that's basically kind of where the plot, kind of how the plot works. And then the waifu gets kidnapped. After the waifu gets kidnapped, we go back to fight Vader again, and that's pretty much a plot summary of the game. So for this boss, what we're going to be doing is starting off by blasting him in the head with lightning. And this is going to then get us to get him to smack his fists down on the ground. And when his fists are on the ground, we blast the shackles. And then until we get the prompt to mash B. And I 100% missed with what I wanted to do. So we just sit here, blast him to a certain health threshold. And then we just start blasting the shackles because we want to do as much damage to the shackles as we can. So that way when they drop, we just immediately get the prompt to then start mashing B. And this is a game where when you start mashing, the faster you mash, the faster certain QuickTime events go. And that lightsaber throw didn't connect, so that's a little unfortunate. And now we've got this QuickTime event. The game tells you to hold right trigger, but that's an option. It's not actually required to hold right trigger. It's what I like to call a look mom, no hands method. And so we're going to bash this guy into the ground, and this is going to be the first phase of, well, the first half of phase 1 of the Gorog fight. This boss is divided into 3 phases, and so we do this twice, and then we will do another phase and twice, and then we do another phase twice. So he's going to slam on the ground, we're going to blast the shackle, the game's going to be like, hey, mash B. And we're then going to mash B. So yeah, this is, so between Force Unleashed 1 and 2, Force Unleashed 2 is definitely my favorite. I really like the movement tech in the run. I really like, just overall, I think just the run is a lot more high adrenaline. And it's one thing that really, like, I don't know if I'd say high adrenaline, but there's a lot of things constantly happening in the run. that makes it a lot more interesting to me than Force Unleashed 1. And not necessarily that Force Unleashed 1 is a bad speed game, obviously, because I still run it and think it's a great speed game. But the main 80% run is just skipping to the end of the game and then hoping and praying that the boss cooperates. Force Unleashed and then no mission skips is skipping as many things as you can in each mission and then hoping and praying each boss in each level cooperates. Whereas in Force Unleashed 2, there's movement tech that you have to watch, there's certain executions and platforming that's important, and just overall has a lot more, I think, just kind of consistent, like, a lot more unique things about the run, and hence why I enjoy it more. So that's the first phase of the Gorog. We've done that little quick time event, and the Gorog is going to get really mad because we stabbed him in a boo-boo, and he's going to pick us up and throw us off to some random edge where we're then going to go into the second phase. The second phase of the fight is pretty RNG heavy, actually. What happens is the Gorog is going to, this is why we got the lightsaber throw upgrade, actually, because we have to do lightsaber throw up, fully charged lightsaber throw attacks to do the most damage against the Gorog. And so what we do is we throw our lightsabers at him and then start blasting him with lightning while our lightsabers are like stuck inside of his body, and that makes that will make his phase advance more and more. And luckily, I think this is the shortest phase. This might not be the shortest phase. I don't actually know. Well, this isn't the shortest phase gameplay-wise. The shortest phase gameplay-wise is phase 3. So what I like to do is I double jump. Oh, and I totally missed with my first saber throw, and all those stormtroopers got in the way. So, but luckily they did a little bit of chip damage that I didn't need to actually blast it with lightning. So now these guys are very much in the way. Okay. It's rough RNG. But that's pretty much what we're doing. I tried doing this with like base saber throw, and it was a nightmare. So we're gonna come here, do 1 jump, 2 jumps, 1 jump, 2 jumps, 1 jump, 2 jumps, 2 jumps, dashing blast to enter this segment here where he's gonna put his hand on the support, and we're gonna be like, actually, we want you to rip that support off. So we just throw our lightsabers at his hand to make him angry and rip the support down. Rather than like let go, he just holds on and rips it off. I don't understand. He's probably not the brightest Gorog in the place that Gorogs are from. I don't know. Then we throw our lightsabers again. Oh, that hit me. Okay. Double jump up. Throw our lightsabers fully charged. Blast him with lightning. So what I'm going to be going for after I throw his hand is this tiny little cutscene. It's not really a cutscene though, because you can actually move in it. So I'm going to attempt to get as close to the end of the boss, the end of the phase trigger as I can, while the camera is panning, and I won't be able to see myself. Hopefully my muscle memory will take over.
May I come in with a quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, cool. Because we just got a 20-euro donation from Paradart, saying if something bad happens to the run, does Starkiller become Run Killer?
100%. Starkiller becomes Run Killer, very much.
Thank you so much for that donation, Paradart. And it actually went to the incentive for the costume, so we're slightly closer to making that incentive happen. Come on, everyone. We can make it. We can do it.
Yes, I believe in you, Twitch chat. I 100% believe in you guys. Let's do it. Let's hit that incentive. You guys will want to see it. It is so funny. So please get your donations in. And I know we've got a decent chunk of people watching on ESA. And if all of you guys donate, we will easily hit that incentive and then some. So in this phase, you're probably wondering what the heck is going on with my camera. And my response to that is, good question. I am the only runner who consistently gets funky camera, and I need to relook and see if there's a way to prevent it. So what happens is it's our second falling section, and what happens? Oh, I got hit. What happens is we're falling. Now my camera will be fixed, by the way. We're gonna dash down, enter sort of like the range in order to actually do damage to him, and then we're going to throw our lightsabers and blast lightning while our lightsabers are going out, hitting him and coming back, all while trying to avoid getting hit by his arms. But that's really hard to actually do because he swings in these weird patterns. And then it's gonna continue. We have to do this 3 times. Don't know why the game makes us do this phase 3 times, but it does. Oh yeah, and the whole time Coda is like complaining because we need to go faster. And he keeps coughing and struggling, but doesn't do anything to help himself. So now we've broken the Gorog's tusks, and Starkiller's just kind of decided, alright, yeah, I'm done with this. And rather than keep doing what he's been doing, we're going to mash A to build up a crap ton of force, and we're going to fling ourselves at the Gorog, going supersonic speeds, and blast straight through his chest to kill him. Which then, with him dying, he will then get released, and now we have saved Coda, and Coda's like, okay, cool, I'm alive now. I'm going to go ahead and call my ship, which he didn't think to do beforehand. I don't know. So now we're in our next level, Dagobah. That was actually a really fast load. Wow. Dagobah is a really hecking hard level. And I say hecking hard because it's got some really advanced movement tech, and hopefully I don't mess it up. So I'm going to kind of go into focus mode here. I'm going to grab a few holocrons and hopefully don't be dumb. And that's Dagobah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, it's the shortest level in the game. We go into the cave there, have a little chat with Yoda, and then get some funky Force vision that we skip because it's all in a cutscene and we don't have to worry about it. So now the game is going to be kind of switching dynamics. Another reason why I really like this game as a speed game. In this game, now that we've had the first half of the run, which has had a lot of movement, well, not really a lot of movement, but a lot of skips, a lot of tricks, platforming, a lot of stuff that just constantly keeps going and going. And it's the early parts of the game are very, very reset heavy. And now that we're here in the mid game, we can just kind of chillax. And just now we're going to be in a lot of movement based. Going to be 2 decently heavy movement based levels. There are going to be a few small skips we're going to be doing, but for the most part, it's just going to be straight movement. And it's nice and relaxing because then I don't have to try and be like, okay, I have to do a crap ton more consistent damage boosting strats, and I can just focus purely on movement and level knowledge as well as combat. Very different than the first half of the run, and again, another thing I really like. So it's a very linear level, which every level in this game is pretty linear, so it's not like it's really that big of a deal that there is that these are all linear levels. Again, holding right trigger, even though the game tells us to, holding right trigger is a suggestion. So yeah, we were gonna go meet up with our waifu, but now she's under attack, and you guys are gonna get the best fan service ever. If you guys are fans of Boba Fett, he shows up. Is he relevant to the plot? Absolutely not, but he is here. Oh, sorry, I gotta make sure I keep drinking while I'm talking, because there's a lot of things to talk about in the run, and so making sure that I'm staying hydrated is very important. So yeah, you're gonna see Boba Fett twice and his ship once. There's once, which is Proxy, our little shape-shifting droid, flashing him so that way you're like, oh my gosh, are we going to fight Boba Fett? Is this game giving us this fan service where Starkiller is going to fight Boba Fett, one of the greatest bounty hunters in the Star Wars universe? Yeah, no. We get teased, but you don't actually fight Boba Fett, and it's really upsetting. So now here we have to, for some reason, oh yeah, this whole level's gimmicks, you kind of saw it there with those little generators. I'm actually going to explain them here in just a little bit, because I got to dash through here, because that droid spawns. But these generators here, the majority of this level is putting them in their generators. And a lot of times we put them in their various places in very different ways. And you'll kind of notice that throughout the run. Throughout the levels, and most of our movement when we're moving them is going to be force pushing them, because that just overall we can move while pushing it consistently. Whereas if we were to force grip and throw, we have to stand still, force grip, throw, move, stand still, force grip, throw. Now we've unlocked repulse. It's going to come in really handy in later stages of the run when we start using more of our force rage meter, which we used in the very end of the first level where we deleted those ATSTs and killed enemies super quickly. We have 2 areas where we actually use it for fights. So you get to see that showing up here more, which is super cool. So this is one of the reasons that this level becomes a lot more movement heavy and becomes very focused on movement is because of what I talked about with the ATSTs, where if you're doing things too fast, things don't spawn. And in this level, a lot of times we actually don't want things to spawn. Specifically here when we're entering this cutscene. There are these terror troopers here. We have this cutscene that shows them, and they're the world's most annoying enemy. They are so frustrating because they flash around, teleport, they do all this funky jazz. But since we went places fast and the game couldn't load them in, we don't have to worry about them at all, and we can just now proceed to move this generator to its slot without having to focus on the fact that there are generators around. And then we can just continue to move here. We got a little like 2-second time save coming up here, which is we're going to put this generator into its socket, come over here, repulse at the door. It's going to destroy this room. Here's the second time you see Boba Fett. And Juno gets to see a look at her man and be like, wait a second, is that my man? And then get super confused as Boba Fett's cape flows into the weird gravity of the weird gravity thingy. Yeah, and that's going to be the last time you're going to see Boba Fett. So, yeah. We're now going to come over here where I'm going to jump up onto this pipe, and then I'm going to dashing blast, hopefully die during this cutscene, because if I die during this cutscene like this, I skip it. Nice little small skip here, and then I'm going to do some platforming here, make sure that I don't fall, because it would really suck if I did. Alright, so now what we're coming up to is what I call engine room skips. And what they are is there are these shields here, but we can just kind of slip into them by getting hit by some of them, and then using the iframes from getting hit, we can just go through. Here, this is spinning really fast, but it does have a hole. And I'm going to realign myself on that one, because that one is really weird. Gotta wait for that cycle there so we don't mess that up. And then we have one more set of skips here. Some of these engine room things just have holes you can just kind of slip through. Others you have to abuse the iframes that you get. Here we have to wait this cycle out, which is a little unfortunate. And then here I've got a pretty difficult jump coming up. That skips me having to force an elevator, so I'm going to focus here. Oh no, I didn't dash! No! The game didn't want me to dash, so I had to force up this elevator, which is a little annoying, but that's fine. That happens, and you just deal. And now we're gonna ride this elevator, and hopefully, I don't actually know if I'm gonna even show up in the right spot. I never really do half the time, and I end up. Wow, I actually did. That's cool. And now there's Slave One. Boba Fett's gonna disappear, and you're never gonna see him again after this. But that's the main portion of Aboard the Salvation. We're going into our second major boss fight here, and that is the Terror Walker, that really large droid that's been putting holes in the ship everywhere. He's kind of the big enemy here. And what we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to do something just a little bit different because of the struggle that I had in the first mission, Camino Escape, and the trick that I had. Because I loaded so many checkpoints, the game is going to crash at some point during the run. So at the end of this cutscene, I hit a checkpoint, and I'm actually going to hit Alt F4 and restart the game. This way I don't have to worry about the game crashing at all throughout the whole rest of the run. It's a nice little thing because the PC port of this game does crash quite a bit, but we play on the PC port because we're able to time without loads. I'm actually going to be trying showing off some of the differences between this and the console port here by doing some console runs of Force Unleashed 2. Going to be doing some any percent New Game Plus as well as all holocrons because I have the world record for all of them for PC. And I want to put some runs on the board for console. I don't know how much I'm going to put into it. So this is the Terror Walker. I reloaded the checkpoint immediately when I restarted, just that way I could skip the cutscene. This fight starts off with some AI manipulation. I don't want to go too fast when I'm going to these pylons because I don't want the Terror Walker to turn around. So I'm kind of going decently slow. This is to make sure that the Terror Walker continues to follow me. And if I go too fast, then he turns around, and this last pylon that I have to grab just becomes super annoying to try and grab. But we were able to manipulate him properly, and that's a great way to start out the fight. And so now that we've got his shield down, we're gonna grab this explosive canister over here and just throw it at him. It's gonna explode, and he's gonna drop, and then we can do 3 strikes and then a lightning strike. The lightning strike, what it does is it sends a strike behind me, and as you can see, there's all those little terror droids that are getting hit and dying when I'm doing the lightning strike. That prevents them from getting in my way while I'm trying to do a lot of damage to the Terror Walker, as well as gets me a little bit more EXP, which I also realized I did not grab my saber upgrade that I needed. So I'm going to grab that here. So now my lightsabers do a little bit more damage. So doing that is super helpful, and that 3 strike and then electric strike just sets me up so that way then I don't have to worry about any of the other enemies. So now we put those generators back in their slots. That makes the thing go nuts again and takes out the Terror Walker's shield. Oh yeah, and these are the Terror Troopers. They're going to be annoying. We're going to throw the explosive canister at the Terror Walker again. Knock him down, and then just start wailing into him. And the nice thing with Terror Troopers is when they come up to hit me, when I do the lightning strike, or just any attack, they back off. You actually have to catch them like right at the end of their teleporting. Oh yeah, and that's the Terror Walker fight. We're just going to dash into the energy pylon, and he's going to get blown up here, and that ends the fight. Overall, that was actually about as good of a fight as you want to get. I had a few movement hiccups, but that's fine. And then, normally the game would want you to force his body down. Yeah, no, just use his head. His head is very much to be jumped on to skip that and end that level. So that's the end of Aboard the Salvation, and now we're going into Battle of the Salvation, which is basically supposed to be the Aboard the Salvation, but in reverse, and it's not actually. So now we have arrived at Camino, so that way we can save Juno. But we have to get through the space battle part of it before we can actually start the land battle. So what we're going to be doing is first of all, we have to clear out this hangar. And I'm going to attempt... Okay, that didn't work the way I wanted it to, but that's fine. That happens. Yeah, we're going to do that. Deal with that guy. Blast all these fools with lightning, and then throw an explosive cask there, explosive barrel. That actually was as optimal as I wanted that to happen, because all except for one guy got hit, and normally I don't hit any of them with that explosive barrel. And I killed a lot of people really quickly. Because now here is where this whole fight gets annoying, because this is when the walkers and stuff get involved. And when walkers get involved, especially these ones, sometimes the ATSD's lasers will knock me down. I don't think they're actually supposed to, but sometimes they just do. And whenever they throw bombs and missiles, the game prioritizes... Oh, I didn't actually want to do this. This is a QTE to blow up the walker. So there's that. But when the game does bombs and missiles... when you throw your lightsabers, the game prioritizes hitting them instead of the walker, and so that can be kind of slow because you have to do more of that. We're dashing over here while the second door comes in, because there's going to be a pod with some snipers on it, but dashing over here, we're immediately here, and we don't have to worry about going back for them later. There's a bomb. I'm gonna just... Wow, they're really going ham with these missiles. Oh, that guy, like, disintegrated. What? And that finishes off that. Overall, not a terrible fight. We had one walker that was a little bit of it, but was a little annoying, but overall, it wasn't terrible. And then we're just going to blast the boarding ship latches to get rid of them so that way our fighters can now go out. And then now we're going to go immediately into some more engine room skips, because there are actually enemies in our actual engine room and we need to deal with them. So we're going to be doing more of these skips. These ones are a little bit more unique because they're going to be introducing another little fun mechanic. Oh geez, I'm going to kill some guys here just to get some health. And we're going to try and slip through this hole. Nice. So here, I'm going to do this skip, and then I can't cut too far into that room. Otherwise, I activate a cutscene. But if I just go around the edge, I can actually go around the cutscene trigger, making my life so much easier. And then we're just going to slip through the hole again. And then get some janky lock-on system. So now that we're doing this, we are going to now go and use that Force Rage ability that we used once already in the run for a very brief period of time. We're activating it, falling on to the ground, using repulse, and then now we're just going to sit here and spam repulse, killing as many enemies as are on the screen or in the room, even before all of them have spawned. And the way that the game registers the completion of that fight is how many enemies are in the room. So even if more haven't actually spawned, but you kill all of the enemies that are there, the game will register that the fight is done. Hence why we use the strat that we do. And then here we've got some more platforming. We try and just avoid using the force for it as much as possible, because that's slow. And here's a segment where we're going to get a really dramatic reveal of a magma droid, but it gets interrupted because the magma droid won't actually be there because we've been going really fast. See? No magma droid. Just an empty boarding pod that's now shown up here. It's really nice when that happens in all holocrons because there's a holocron right there. And we're just going to put that in there, and we're just gonna now keep going towards the end of the level here. So now there's not too terribly much happening. So now is actually a really good time to read some donations.
Yes, alright. So I want to take this moment to talk a little bit about Mind, the charity that we're raising money for. It's a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who's dealing with mental issues themselves or within their family. all your donations that you'll make during this event will go to Mind. And with those, so far, people have been amazing by donating over 3,400 euros already. And let's try to hope that to make it as much as we can, because yeah, every little donation will make a change on helping Mind prevent mental health issues like that.
If you have anything else too, you can go ahead and just keep going.
All right, sure thing, sure thing. Then I'd like to also take a quick thanks, give a quick thanks to ESA for supporting the event and for allowing us to stream on their channel. For information about their upcoming events and any changes due to the COVID-19 outbreak, be sure to check out esamarathon.com. And besides the fact that we're streaming on the ESA channel, we're also, of course, streaming on our own channel, BSG_marathon. So if you're watching on the ESA channel and want to be up to date with our own event, make sure to give a follow to our to the BSG Marathon channel as well.
Alright, so now we've got one more fight here we're going to be doing. Another nice thing that I didn't cover before is getting the max, not the max, but the saber throw upgrade that we did get earlier in the run actually sets us up so that way when we use lightsaber throw against walkers, it one-shots the walkers. And now we have to make sure that everybody's dead, and we're going to get the best voice line in the game here where Coda just yells, "Gah!" It's amazing. It's great. So now we're going to fire the main heavy cannon by ourselves because we're real smart and we suddenly figured out how the gun worked. And we're going to one-shot the Star Destroyer here. Really simple. And that's the end of the Star Destroyer, and that will now set us up to go and invade the planet. But there's actually a shield around the planet, and there's only one way to have the shield go away, and that is we're going to take this cruiser that we have been on and fought graciously to try and defend. We're now going to take it and crash it into the planet to disable the shield and give us an opening for our troops to enter. So we're heading back over to the bridge. Hey, look, it's the tram that we started these levels on. And you're probably wondering why I can control my character in here. Well, there's droids here that are going to start showing up. So I'm going to be doing a charged repulse just to get rid of them as quickly as possible. And we're just going to be kind of chilling to destroy these guys. And that's going to be lead us into the end of this level. And then the game is then going to switch to back to kind of a skip heavy. We're going to have a lot of difficult platforming. And oh yeah, I'm just going to casually clip through the tram when it crashes into the wall. So it's really nice that we're just going to kind of have this moment at the start of the level where you can just kind of chill and do some quick time events before we then go into a lot of the hardest skips in the game and a lot of the harder parts of the run. Because this is where, if you can get a run this far, awesome. Your run will probably die here if you get really optimized. Like, I've had many runs where I've been like a minute or so ahead of my world record and have still lost the run because the end game is so hard to do well. So hopefully I'm able to give it a good showcase. The rest of this run has gone really well, other than Camino Escape. So I've actually been really happy with myself doing this because I didn't have too terribly much time to practice just because of school. I moved back into college yesterday, and so I'm in a whole trying to get like used to a new setup as well as getting my college schedule and stuff all kind of figured out. So yeah, but I've been practicing where I can to get ready for this, and I'm really glad I'm able to show this run off. This run is one of my favorite speed games I've ever played. I invested a lot of time into it. Again, another runner, same Force Unleashed 1 runner, is also an incredible Force Unleashed 2 runner, lifelike. When I started running, the world record was 110.47 loadless, and that was about 2 years ago. And then right about the time that I got a 111, he then went and got a 109.46. And then I really wanted world record. There were moments where I was finding where I was getting ahead of him and then he was getting ahead of me, and we were going back and forth in different segments. And so I grinded those segments that I was struggling with. Oh yeah, this falling section we can't speed up. Like, even if it's based around the speed of the ship falling, and so no matter how much I force dash, it doesn't actually make a difference. And then one day I got a 108.53, and that has been their standing world record. And I really hope to beat it. That's kind of the goal. Before I really kind of move on to anything else, is I want to beat my 108.53. I also would really like to get more all holocrons runners. I am the only one who has done an all holocrons run, and I would really love to see it pop off more. It's actually a super good category, I think, for new runners, because it doesn't have as difficult of skips, and some skips get obsoleted, and then some skips are just really hecking awesome. One that I actually developed myself that I'm actually really proud of, and I'm probably going to be doing all holocrons again after this marathon. Well, actually after my next marathon, which is a week after this one. Just so that way I can get a better run with my developed skip. So, we got another skip coming up right here. What's going to be happening is I'm going to be rushing to this door that's going to get highlighted, and I have to try and open the door before I get shot with the turret. This is one of the hardest skips in the game, and it took me forever to learn it properly. And it took a lot of practice. So hopefully I can get it here. I'm going to be dashing. I got to go really fast in order to do it. And we're going to mash, and we got it first try. That's awesome. Getting that skip first try is always super nice. If I don't get that skip first try in a run, I usually have to reset. Just because you have to reload the checkpoint, and then you have to go through a lot of things again, and it just becomes a huge pain. So, we're not done with skips. We actually have probably one of our biggest skip of the run. This skip's about 6 minutes worth of stuff. A lot of fighting. So we're going to be jumping over. So he says, hey, we're in the security center across from you. Yeah, I'll help you get across. And we're like, nah, these snipers that are here, they're actually going to help me get across. We're going to dashing blast, do a 2-strike combo, damage boost, do 1 jump because we don't want to, because we can reduce our fall height. And we can now land over here, which is very much out of bounds. And I'm going to be quiet here while I kind of move around so I don't just like awkwardly fall through the floor like I've done before in runs. And then avoiding invisible walls. And then we're going to jump over here through this wall that doesn't actually exist. And we got the skip. That skipped a lot of miscellaneous fights that we would have had to do. And while, yes, it does make us lose some EXP, we only have one more ability that we actually have to upgrade. And that ability really isn't even all that necessary to have. So it's just kind of one thing that makes the final boss fight a little bit easier. So, yeah. But now we're just going to be running our way through to this next checkpoint. And you can kind of see the world load, which I think is kind of cool. Oh, hi, an enemy spawned right behind me. That's new. That was a bad dash cancel there. And we're going to come here, hit this checkpoint, and I'm going to switch costumes here to reload the checkpoint because I've been going so fast. I don't trust the fact that I don't trust enemies loading. So it's always just when I hit this, I reload it. Most runners just do that anyways as well. So here's our magma droid. It's the same thing as the carbonite droid that we avoided earlier. He shows up here, and okay, I didn't get to do what I wanted to do here, so this is a little interesting. I need to just hit him and kick him out. And then we're going to be kind of dashing back and forth because we're trying to get our Force Rage meter filled up. Cool. It's full, so we can activate Force Rage and now just start blasting repulse while we then wait for the game to be like, hey, you finished the fight. Because as you can see, things are just getting disintegrated. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get our last upgrade. We're going to upgrade Mind Trick. We're upgrading Mind Trick because we do actually use it in the run. So we're going to then enter this small cutscene here where we're going to be doing some really difficult platforming, and I'm going to have to go into kind of focus mode and be quiet because this platforming is extraordinarily difficult, and I have lost an absurd amount of runs to this here. Okay, didn't get that initial jump the way I wanted, but my backup worked, so we're good there.
Come in. You read me? Someone answer me. General, do you copy?
Yeah. We were able to hold them off. Barely.
Okay, quiet. Coda. Firing 1,000. Cloning. An army.
Also, the cutoff for the Guybrush incentive is happening real soon. Alright, cool. So we got part 1 of the difficult platforming done. So now we have to kill these acolytes here. We're only killing them so that way we can actually open this door without a problem. And they're being really... The guy just... Whoa, okay, he just dropped. That was interesting. And now we have the run killer door. This door is the worst. Hopefully, because I can usually get it open, but if I get hit, the door will usually do that and shut right away. And there are enemies coming up. So I'm going to repulse just to knock them down. And hopefully I can dash through. Cool. We made it through. Awesome. That door normally does not... That actually is about as optimal as you can get with the door. So now we have one more segment of platforming where we don't do any of... Well, we do the majority of it as intended, but... we do eventually just are like, hey, we're actually going to skip some things. Because I'm going to do one little, what I call tube jump. So I'm going to come over here, jump onto this tube. That is, if these guys don't destroy it. Okay, we're good. Whew. And we're going to open this door, and now we're going to head into the final boss. So, this is where the cutoff will happen for the incentive. Have we hit it?
Oh, I really wish I could have said that we've made it, but unfortunately we didn't make it to the incentive. We did raise 58 euros 50 cents with that incentive though. Thanks
Oh,
everyone so
wow.
much for donating. For that.
Hey, thank you guys for that. That's awesome.
We're losing your signal, Star Killer. Just stop.
Alright, so here we are into the final boss fight. It's kind of this weird like intro thing where Vader's like, we're gonna trip you out and make your mind go all funky. So we're gonna be entering into these quick time events. Vader's just gonna show up out of nowhere, hit us with a lightsaber lock, and then push us onto the ground after headbutting us. It's amazing Starkiller remains conscious. And after each time we do a lightsaber lock, we get a flashback that we skip because that's in the cutscenes that we actually removed from the game.
You know it's me.
You're a monster. A thing.
You know, please.
So we're just, unfortunately we can't dash, so as you can see I'm pushing my dash button here. Yeah, it doesn't actually go. We're just stuck now standing and having to just walk. And it's really annoying. So we've got this. We're just going to do these different lightsaber locks. There are actually 3 of them. 3 different ones that we can get. And they're each different speeds based on which one you get. You can either push the X button, left trigger, or flick the left stick down. Pushing the X button is the fastest. Then it's left trigger, and then it's flicking the stick down. Because they each have different animations that all happen. And we got a left stick for that one, which isn't terrible, but again, it really doesn't matter. It maybe loses you like a second or 2. So we're gonna come into here and hit this where he's gonna pick us up, and then we're just gonna flick the control stick back and forth to then free ourselves from Vader's grip, get another flashback before Starkiller decides, okay, cool, it's time to jog now. We're done walking. and we're going to now actually walk into the fight. Have one more cutscene here that we have to watch before we then go into the fight itself. So, the way that this fight is going to be working, I call this segment Zambies. And the reason why I call this section Zambies is because there's these Zambies here. There are other clones of Starkiller, and we're going to actually be mind. This is why we get the mind trick upgrade, because we use mind trick to then have them attack Vader, and Vader will be distracted by the zombies and will allow us to wail into him. Now, right now, the zombies aren't going to spawn right away, so we need to figure out a way to distract Vader, and we do that by blasting his lightsaber with lightning, and that then allows us to... He gets distracted with, like, trying to fix it and block our lightning, which then just allows us to wail into him right away, and then we can just immediately start doing a lot of damage. And we want him to be distracted by zombies, but we don't want to do too much damage to him, because otherwise then he won't jump up there. Luckily, he did jump up there. I don't know why his lightsaber is striking like that. And we're going to force that down, start that cutscene, and normally that cutscene would be where I would activate the Guybrush Threep Killer costume, but unfortunately we didn't hit the incentive. So, because then we just reload the checkpoint, and now we don't have to worry then about watching that cutscene. So now we're just going to get the canonical, emotional ending that we all know and love. And I got stuck on a ledge. Oh, he's spawning in the next round of zombies. There are two types of zombies. There are Force zombies and lightsaber zombies. They basically have like the same qualities of like the Sith acolytes. And the riot troopers, where these ones are immune to force except for mind trick, and then the other ones are immune to lightsaber, and you should be using the force to deal with them. The force ones are the most annoying. Oh my gosh, what a save! Holy cow! That was terrifying. And so now we're into the main part of the fight, where we're going to be bouncing back between these three platforms and basically just fighting Vader and the zombies. One thing we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have Vader initiate a lock, because if he initiates a lock, we lose like 30 seconds. And so we are able to avoid the locks by not just constantly wailing into him, by like doing a combo, backing away, mind trick, doing a combo, backing away, mind trick. There are a lot of ways that we can just then avoid the potential of a lock, except now we just got a lock, because sometimes Vader will decide, hey, I'm going to give you a lock anyways. So, yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this run, again, join our Discord. This game is super cheap. You can get it on Steam for like 20 bucks, I think. So I 100% recommend picking up this game. I'm actually thinking about making an updated guide for it to kind of include some of the newer tricks, as well as just kind of refresh on some other things and go into more depth about how the game functions. I was able to learn the game with the older guide, but I think it would just be nice to just have something just a little bit more up to date. And so now we're just going to keep wailing on Vader. And eventually he will jump over to the next platform. Okay. That was weird. I lost an input there and fell to my death.
Destroy him.
My lightsabers hit the ground. I've never seen that happen before. Oops, that was the wrong button. Oh gosh, don't fall off again, please. One thing I also have to be careful of is I don't want Vader to fall off the ledge. Because if Vader falls off the ledge, the game hard locks. So, this Vader seems to be a lot nicer. Seems to be so far. Nice. Now we only have to do this one more time before we end this phase of the fight. Yeah, the fight's not over after we beat zombies. Oh, we got another lock. Wow.
You'll have to kill me.
This is Vader being real rude. Oh, we got the down stick one too.
I've defeated you before. I will do it again.
Again, that last little boop. And then we're just going to now jump to the end, where we now have a decently long cutscene here that we'll get to enjoy before we go into the last phase of the fight. So now is another good time to read some any last donations for this run, if you would like to, if there is any to read.
Unfortunately, not any to read, but I can read out a few other things. For example, I'd like to take this moment and to quickly talk about Delfino Customs. They're a controller and console business located in England, and they specialize in customization, modification, and repairs. So our partner for this event, and if you quote the code BSG 2021 on any of your orders up until the 25th of August, you get £5 off your order. And additionally, if you customize your controller cable with our paracord service, another £5 will also be donated to Mind. So win-win there. And also, if you potentially want to win a cool custom controller by Delfino Customs, they made a special BSG themed controller just to give away during this event. Any donation of €15 or higher, and you'll be eligible to win that. So that's really cool. If you want a new nice controller in cool colors, then that's your way to get one.
Nice, that's super cool. So, if you guys enjoyed watching this run, I know I said this before, but if you enjoyed watching this run, you enjoyed watching the last run, go ahead, please give me a follow on Twitch. I stream this game pretty often, even if it's not PB attempts or just no reset runs. I'm also trying to find different ways to maybe do challenge runs of this game, because I just think doing some different challenge runs are kind of fun outside of just grinding for PB attempts. So if you guys have a fun idea in mind, let me know. And give me a follow on Twitch to see stuff. So now we're into the last phase of the Vader fight. And this phase, we actually want Vader to lock. We want to shove him. I shoved him over by this pillar. In order, just so that way, you'll see kind of why, but we want to do a lock here. That even though, yeah, we're not getting any damage off in this lock, by the time we complete this lock, we're going to take about half of Vader's health gone. So we're going to push Vader up against this pillar, and I'm going to mash Y, and you're just going to see his health just drain. And we want to do this again. So he's gonna be blasting me with the lightning from the pillars, so I can just kind of, but I can block it, no problem. And then that was another really fast lock, so this was a really, really, really good fight.
You will die where you stand.
And Starkiller's just kind of done with Vader. He believes that Vader killed his waifu, so he's just wailing into him. And you'll now notice we're going to just blast him with this last chunk of lightning. And that's going to be the end of the Vader fight. We just have one more quick time event to finish off the fight, and then another cutscene before the run is finished. So, I can take this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this run, despite some of the weird random hiccups that happened. I had an absolute blast, and I always love being able to show this run off. I think it is just such an interesting run, and just overall a ton of fun to do. And I think it's a very underrated speed game. Right now, I have been the only active runner since Lifelike got his 109.46. He did a few runs here and there for GDQ submissions, but hasn't really, I don't know, he hasn't really ran the game as much as I have recently. I also just kind of have been one of the only active runners who's really had time to do runs. And I'd love to have just some more people involved, not necessarily for competition, but just for fun. I love being able to see other people of a community grow, and as well as just make more friends through it. So please do join our Discord. Also, this part I like to call Look Mom, No Hands, because even though the game says look, mash Y, yeah, that's a suggestion. We don't actually have to. So yeah, again, if you want to watch more of these runs or just interested in learning more, give me a follow on Twitch. I love answering questions about runs. You can even give me a follow on Twitter, and all the same things, Zojalyx, all the way that it's spelled. I absolutely love talking to people about games that I run, just as any other speedrunner does. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this run. I will be calling time here in about a minute, because we still have one more input we have to make for the game, which is to determine which ending that we take, but we don't actually get to watch it because we removed that cutscene, which is why I didn't make it an incentive this time around. So we, the world record right now is 108.53 loadless. I don't remember what that comes out to RTA. I think it's like 112 or something. So overall, like, it's a good length run. Like, I think it's in like kind of that perfect length area, at least for me. It's not too long, not too short. My first run was under 2 hours. It's really easy to get under 2 hours as long as you just have a basic understanding of the game's mechanics. You don't need to be all that good. You can get a sub 2 RTA pretty quickly. So I think it's a great game to learn, and time will be coming up right now. Time. So I got a 1:16:01 RTA for me, which isn't terrible. It's not where I necessarily like to be, but that's all right. It's a no reset marathon run, and I still ended under estimate, and that's, I think, the important part right there. So yeah, that's it from me. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do give me a follow on Twitch. I would love to just be able to get to know more people and just be able to hang out more while speedrunning one of my favorite games. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to you, Frosty.
Yes, thank you so much for this amazing run. I had a blast watching this. I've never really seen this game before, but the speedrun just looks so amazing, and you made so many cool things to be seen in that run. I'm gonna be saying here that we're gonna be going into intermission to set up for our next run, which is gonna be El Hillo, a Wild West Tale by Magnicora. So definitely stay tuned here. We'll be right back with some more BSG content. It's also gonna be the end here of my hosting shift though, but I'm gonna leave you in the capable hands of Cruel, who's gonna be your next though. So stay tuned. Thanks everyone so much for watching so far, and yeah, definitely stick around.